Welcome to today's episode. Today we are meeting Tobin Lent, which is the VP of Toppsdigital. So he is the guy responsible for bringing Garbage Pail Kids to the Wax blockchain and running all these Toppsdigital apps they are great success stories, have millions of users and trading millions of dollars in these apps. So they are really successful with this. And Topps, if you don't know who they are the guys that created these baseball cards, hockey cards, the cars that you know about. Perhaps you traded them as a kid or trade them still. Exciting brand, exciting company. And recently they went and launched Garbage Pail Kids on the blockchain, on Wax, traded this, and it's a success story. First series sold out in 28 hours. Second one sold out in an hour. And that's not an hour of $10,000. It's $200,000 of package in an hour. And then we have over $1 million in second market sales on the blockchain. Very impressive, very interesting to see where they move forward. And Tobin said that they do not treat blockchain as a side gig. They treat it as a business that they are going full force into in the coming years moving forward. So stay with me. Let's go and listen to what the VP of Toppsdigital has to say. And most for all, have a great day and let's go. So, welcome to this channel and this interview, Tobin. I'm very excited to have you here. I never heard about you before, but when I read about you, I mean, that the history is huge. I'm very impressed with what you have been doing. I had to do some digging and found articles from 2008. So I've actually done a little bit of history digging on you, and it's exciting. So, tell us, who are you?
Well, I'm not that famous. I guess I'm, thank you for saying I'm exciting, but, I think best way to describe it is, I'm kind of a nerd at heart. I've been in a game since I was a kid and a little bit of collecting as well, but definitely a big gamer. And so my career path, although it started somewhere else, it kind of ended up doing something I really love. So I guess in a nutshell, from that perspective, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is an in the Wax ecosystem for all the fanboys. Everyone knows your name, so at least in our space, we know who you are.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say famous, but I've accidentally become at least a little bit more well known.
Yeah, for sure.
We were just trying to do cool stuff.
Yeah, and cool stuff you have done. I actually want to, before we dig into too much about what you have done in your work life, because that list is long. I would like to just know, how was your childhood? Was it a good one? What's your experience? How's your memories about it?
It was great. I mean, I was kind of very fortunate to have a great childhood. Had great parents. Lived in a beautiful place. Grew up in Colorado, in the United States, which is a mountain state. And so I actually had a pretty diverse a childhood with diverse interests. Did a lot of outdoor stuff, did sports, did a lot of nerdy stuff like playing Dungeons and Dragons. And when the Atari came out, was playing that. That probably dates me. I'm probably a little older than some of the other folks in crypto. So it was definitely a really nice childhood. I have to say I was lucky that way.
Yeah, that sounds great. And all the mountain state, is that where you're doing a lot of hiking and stuff up this?
A lot of hiking, a lot of skiing. We had some of the best skiing in the world 2 hours away from my house up in we wouldn't go to Vail very often, but we would go to places near Vail. And it was a real treasure to have all of that so close by. And we did a lot of hiking in the summer, fishing, just enjoyed the outdoors.
Is it something you still have a chance to do occasionally? Or
yeah, it's good for the soul, Anders. You got to get out some time. And I think now that I have a family, my wife and my daughters, excuse me, they're more into the ocean and beaches, so we spend more time doing that. But we also get up in the mountains, and pretty much anywhere there's water, we try to be there when we take a vacation.
Yeah, that's nice. When you go to the mountains, is it mainly skiing or summer vacations as well?
It's both. It's both. We went skiing in Vermont this last winter, and that's always a lot of fun. This
Yeah.
this East Coast skiing in the East Coast of the United States is very different than what I'm used to in Colorado, which is the best, again, snow in the world, I think. And even in California, where I was the last 15 years before I came out here to New York for Tops, that's different kind of skiing. And the East Coast is pretty icy, so little adjustments are required.
Yeah, I actually love going skiing as well. But we have great mountains both in Sweden and in Norway. So
Absolutely, that's
yeah,
great skiing. It's kind of on my bucket list to go ski in some of those Scandinavian countries up there.
yeah, it's great. So if you have the chance, it's amazing. Uh, and you named that you did a lot of sports. Was it anyone that you got stuck into or drawn into more than the other ones?
You mean in terms of people I followed, or
I, things more like did
sports
you
that I
watch
liked?
them or did you participate?
I did both. I mean, I was very active when I was a kid. I was more of somebody that liked to participate instead of observe. But of course, when you're doing things, you have your heroes as well, right? So when I was a child, I played all kinds of sports. It was basketball or football, American football, baseball, and enjoyed that. Was always, love to watch games on the television with my dad. He watched probably way too much television. He's had sports on all weekend. The TV was running, and it didn't matter what it was: football, golf, racing, outdoor stuff like fishing, and it was just always on. So it's kind of like always seeing it, but it was fun because I got a chance to sit next to him and sometimes watch whatever he was watching, and that's how you get exposed to all these superstars and these great games and all that stuff. Even when I was a younger kid, so
Yeah, were you collecting these cards back then, the Tops cards?
of course. I mean, it's funny. I say it's almost like everybody did, and some people were really serious about it. I was probably in the middle. I mean, I had a lot, and I still have. I just went out to. I mean, people always have these stories, but I went out to see my dad recently, and he's got still some great Tops, cards and boxes from when I collected them when I was, 8 years old.
Yeah.
And I was kind of big, I was for some reason really big into, as I got a little older, Cal Ripken and Nolan Ryan, some of those folks. So I would kind of try to collect as many of those, and I've got a halfway decent collection. But it was fun. I mean, as a kid, it's always cool to compare your collection with other kids and trade. And we play those stupid games where you throw it at the wall and see who could get closest. So it's just kind of another fun mode of entertainment when you're a kid.
Yeah, I did those throwing with well, since I'm a little bit younger, it was mostly Pokemon, but I did it with hockey cards and Pogs and a few other collectibles.
Yeah, it's timeless, isn't it? Those
Yeah.
types of games, it's timeless. I mean, my daughters unfortunately weren't into it as I was. They're kind of more into video games and stuff like that. But still, I know a lot of. I was surprised actually when I first was thinking about joining Tops. I was in California, and I was like, wow, I wonder what Tops is kind of up to these days. I mean, do kids actually still collect these physical cardboard cards? And I remember I did two things. One, I was out on a basketball court, just kind of messing around on this park across from my house, and there were these kids with these baseball cards, physical baseball cards. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then I went to a local Target store one day just to see what was being sold, and it was probably, I guess the timing was good. It was right after school was out, but I couldn't believe all the kids that came up to these shelves and were looking at all of the cards that were on display. So it was, I was surprised to see it's still a big business now.
Yeah, and for me, I'm very surprised about it as well. It amazes me how much money people pay for these cars. It's out of my perspective. I have a hard time grasping that concept, and I find it very amazing. It pulls me in. I want to learn more, just because it's something that people are so passionate about.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's fun. It drives the industry.
Yeah, for sure. And at digital collectibles, I mean, that is something very new for me. How is that working out for Tops?
It's been great, and it was actually one big reason I joined Tops. Is I remember when they started talking to me 2 years ago about this opportunity about coming to run this group, and I had been in mobile games most of my career. That's really what I knew, and also doing some stuff in technology related to entertainment, artificial intelligence and things like that. But when I looked at that digital business, I was surprised, how big it was, and at the core, what was there, and that people really enjoyed that collecting experience. And the group at Tops was started way before me, 2014, depending on how you look at it, and it really came out strong. And what I'm trying to do with it is really take it to the next level. And I think it can be a really big business, but the real focus on that business has been leveraging that core model that works really well, but then really growing the community of fans of that collect in a lot of different ways. So from the hardcore collector that is really after completing every single set and getting the more rare stuff, to people that just love Marvel or Star Wars, and they want to come in and they want to collect and be part of the community and have a good experience. We're trying to really widen the appeal to a broader group of fans, really, that enjoy collecting, and grow the community that way. That's been really the big focus since I've been at Tops, to try to grow this mobile business.
Yeah, that's and with your experience, it must be useful. I mean, from what I read, 2011 was a good year for you in the mobile gaming.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we had built up our own company called Punch Entertainment in 2005, and built it up. Had over 100 employees, and had created a lot of games. We started out actually so early in the mobile game space. We were working on feature phones, which were the old clam shells that you flipped open, which was a complete nightmare to try to create games on that. But we created a lot of good ones. But then when the iPhone came around, that was a big change for us. But yeah, we built it up, and then were acquired by DNA, which was at the time, I think it still might be, the largest game company in Japan. And so that worked out pretty well for us.
Yeah, that's nice. And yeah, you were doing that for a long time, and I mean, it's for me. I'm a gamer from when I grew up, and I right here I have a gaming PC, and next to me is my girlfriend's gaming PC. And when the kid is sleeping, we usually go up here and we play together. So we really like it.
Pretty cool. Did you guys meet through games?
No, we didn't, and she didn't really play anything before she met me, and then I got her into World of Warcraft and Diablo 3, and now we're playing more of PlayerUnknown Battleground and Call of Duty and
Right.
some other games. So
That's really awesome. I could never. My wife was never into it. She just didn't. I tried to get her to play games. Now she's playing games actually, but on her phone, like those Candy Crush style games. But my
yeah,
daughter's one that we play Call of Duty together. It's hilarious, and she just I used to be pretty good gamer when I was younger. I played Halo a lot when it first came out, and we were we would. I mean, this is they didn't have a lot of internet connection. We were taking Xboxes and stringing them together in LANs, and playing in a house till 4 in the morning when it first came out. And that was the most fun I think I've ever had in my life. But now I'm playing my daughter in Call of Duty, and she just destroys me. I mean, it's not even close, and she looks so cute doing it. It's very frustrating.
yeah, that sounds amazing. I did something similar that you did with Xbox, but we used to gather like 20 up to 100 people in a facility and put up a local network. We didn't have internet access back then, or fiber or anything, so we just put up a big network of 100 people, and it was me, my brother, and a few others that usually organized it, even though I was very, very small, so it was mostly them. But yeah, from when I think I was 9 or 10, I started doing that, going to
Yeah,
these events.
just endless fun.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, and let's start with the tops and the wax journey. What's the story behind that? How did it happen?
So when I got to Tops 2 years ago, actually, I would say even before I got to Tops, one of the reasons I thought the opportunity was so compelling is because of blockchain. I always felt like blockchain was going to really enable the digital collectibles industry to get to a completely new level. And I was really excited about the opportunity for secondary transactions and just all the downstream opportunities aside from that, like all the fun that you can create when you have these digital objects that are out there on this network that people can use. So I was very interested in it even before I got to Tops. But then when I was at Tops, I had a lot to do, quite frankly, to really build the foundations for our business generally. But we started looking at blockchain immediately, and quite frankly, it was pretty daunting because there are a lot of platforms, there are a lot of players, there were a lot of tokens, there were a lot of wallets. There's a lot to digest, and you're just not quite sure how to go about it. And so what we developed as a strategy was to make a small bet somewhere and then learn as much as we could from that first effort, and then take the next step from all of our learnings. That was our approach. And so we had looked at a lot of things for really over the course of 2 years, but pretty early on, we had met the Wax guys, and I really liked the team over there, Malcolm and Evan. And we started looking at it. What I liked about Wax, the team in the first place, was that they had operated OpSkins, which is, I think people know, is one of the bigger marketplaces for digital game items, and they had run that successfully. I liked it because they focused on the user experience, which was really important to me, as opposed to just saying, "Hey, we're a technology platform." It's about the tech. They were about the user experience, and that was important. And so I liked what they did there. I knew they had experience, and when I knew they were building this blockchain platform, that was pretty interesting. So we kind of stayed in touch, and in the meantime, we hadn't seen anything. We weren't really excited about jumping into Ethereum because there were too many unknowns there. So we just kind of waited. And then when Wax finally launched, we said, "Hey, let's go." We like these guys. We like what they did. And we said, we'll start with our own property, which we think is a little bit lower risk. So Garbage Pail Kids. And we went out with it, and it did really well. We were really happy with that. So it was fun. And obviously that led us to the next step. So that's kind of how we got there.
Yeah, did you expect it to go as it did, the first launch?
Predicted internally. So we had different schools of thought, but I had predicted to my fellow executive team, and that it would sell out within 24 hours. I had an 80% chance that it would do that. And the reason I felt about that strongly about it is that it's Topps first time in the blockchain. I felt like I just out of pure curiosity, they would go and they would buy. So I think that's what drove a lot of it. But having said that, I think that was a little bit more wishful thinking. I was surprised actually that it did that well, and very happy. And because it really enabled us to then take the next step pretty quickly.
Yeah, for me it was the first digital collectible experience really for me, and I loved it. I was unsure. I bought packs because I wanted to support the project, and then I got stuck and I just kept buying more packs, selling cars and buying more packs and selling cars, and I was into that for, I don't know, I don't think my girlfriend had a lot of words exchanged with me the first week when they launched. It
But
ate
wait
my
till you
time.
get married; it gets even worse. I have to explain why I spent the money. I pretty much, I play all of our apps because I want to experience, and I use my own money.
Yeah.
I never take like free currency, but because I like to have that experience and feel the pain points of what it's like to actually buy with your own money and trade and all that stuff. So, I was in there playing and trading and buying and stuff. So it was fun.
Yeah, it was. And it went crazy pretty fast the first few days. It just kept going up, the prices and activity and the trade volume and everything.
Yeah, the secondary market was amazing, wasn't it? How the ecosystem developed, markets popped up, the prices were strong. That probably out of everything. The initial sellout wasn't so surprising, but the secondary market performance really surprised me.
Yeah, in 3 weeks, I think we had 100% new marketplaces. At least two major ones. And
yeah, two more popped up.
And they just kept going.
GPK market popped up within a day.
Yeah. And they do very well. They have done, I think, about 14 million wax in trade volume or something along those lines.
Yeah, they've done a nice job.
I might say too much, but it's okay. They have done a big portion, and right now Collectibles.io is actually growing, so that's very nice.
Yeah, you can't because it's all public. It's all on the blockchain. That was the other thing I noticed. Is like it's all out there.
Yeah.
There are no secrets.
But how was it to onboard the board and everything with this idea?
To onboard.
Yeah, the board members and everything
members?
like this. Yeah.
Right. That's what I thought you meant. Just clarifying. They were. We have a great board. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Michael Eisner actually bought Topps in 2007. And for those of you that people don't know Michael Eisner, he was the former CEO of Disney for 20 years, so very very well known. And he bought Topps, and he's always had a very big vision, and so is the board of digital and the role it plays with Topps. And the one thing I'll tell you that I like about Topps a lot that would probably surprise people is that it's a very forward-thinking company and a very innovative and entrepreneurial company. So even though I wouldn't say it's a huge company, depending on how you look at it, but it's very entrepreneurial. People can move very quickly. There's a lot of acceptance of new ideas and willingness to make investments in new areas. So they were always very supportive, not only of our digital business and in our mobile apps, but as we're exploring blockchain, they're very supportive of it.
That's awesome. But how about the employees?
Of course, they love it.
I mean, for me, learning about the cryptocurrency, blockchain, every aspect like this, it's difficult to teach people about it. So the interest needs to be there. So how has this experience been? How is it going forward?
It's great. I mean, if I'm a nerd on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 1. Most of the people in my group are 10s. They're just super nerds and they love all the latest, coolest new stuff. I believe a lot of them bought the blockchain, so they're into it. I think the big question my team has is we have this very successful business of mobile apps with Star Wars, Marvel, all these great brands, MLB. And the question kind of for them, I think mainly from a business perspective, personally, they love it. They think it's super interesting and everybody wants to explore it. But they're also kind of wondering, okay, how does blockchain over here fit into what we're doing with our mobile apps? So I think that's the only question they have. But other than that, they're really excited about it.
That's very easy. Onboard everything on the blockchain and we're done.
May not be easy.
Yeah, I bet. And for all those other IPs you have, because the list is long. Actually, when this video go out, we will see a lot of the IPs around us when we are talking. How's the plan going forward there, and what's the big issues or problems to solve?
Well, there's obviously a lot of interest from our partners. We've been talking to them along the way. We've obviously updated them regarding the success of GPK. So I can't talk a lot about the conversations and at what point they are in terms of progress, but there's a lot of interest. There's obviously all of these IP brands are very protective over their IP, and they have a lot of questions mainly around, hey, what happens, when our a Mickey Mouse collectible goes out into the blockchain and people start using it because of the freedom. They can use it any way they want. And what if they use it in a game that seems to be a little bit inappropriate, not representative of our brand? And that's one part of it. So it's about keeping the integrity of their IP is one area. The second one is just what are the business opportunities? They obviously want to know what happens downstream, how you can track it, how you can monetize it, all of those things. So those are the two big questions. And I wouldn't say there's a ton of trepidation. It's just they want to know before they go in what this looks like. And so it's a little bit early, but we're trying to educate them along the way.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I figure, I mean, when I worked at the gym before, and just teaching them about the new data system is a struggle. So going and then teaching, first you teach your own people, and then you have to talk to the next set of people about these issues and understanding what the blockchain actually is. I mean, you need to start at the foundation.
Yep, for sure.
So that's very interesting. And if we move on to what happened recently, how was this launch compared to what you thought? The Tiger King.
Now that one was a true shocker. That was a true shocker. And I think, this was probably a big lesson learned for us. We knew that based on Series 1, there was a lot of pent-up demand and even a little bit of frustration that people for Series 1 tried to get, intended to buy, but they just didn't get in. They didn't think it was, I'll buy it later this week kind of a thing, and it sold out in a day. And so I think everybody was very much prepped, for this launch. But the speed at which things sold out really surprised me. And I mean, the mega packs were out in 25 minutes, and I think it was going so fast that the credit card processor couldn't even keep up. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah, and if you look at it, we had 1,000 orders in queue to issue these packs in just a few minutes, like 10 minutes, and they were already ordered. So technically, most likely the mega packs was out before 10 minutes has passed, but they weren't issued. So yeah, and that's very interesting. It went so fast.
Like I told you, I try to participate in this too, and I bought some packs, and then one of my buddies, when this was happening, I was actually on an executive call when this was happening, and I kept checking the numbers. I'm like, guys, this is like, they're going down fast. And I told the guy that runs our physical business he says, look, I want to buy some packs and just see how this thing works. I said, sure. I said, David, you got to buy now. They're going so fast, and he was locked out. And so I actually tried to buy a pack for him, and my, the transaction went through, but then it was reversed. I mean, it happened. And I know a lot of people too, in my group were trying to buy some packs and couldn't. So, and anecdotally friends and things. So it was very frustrating for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was, and I actually put up an explanation video of what happened on my YouTube channel and shared it in the Telegram groups to kill all the worries about what actually happened. And it was the queue that built up and the communication between the queue and the blockchain. So next time it won't happen, because now everyone knows what to prepare for.
Yeah, well, we learned a lot, and I know Wax did a big postmortem on it. We're participating in that, so we'll adjust. I mean, the guiding principle for us always is the user experience, and like I think I said in one of the Telegram channels, maybe, is that look, this is a new space for us. We may not always get it 100% right. We mean to every single time, but we just can't predict sometimes what will happen. And so we'll adjust, but the guiding principle for us always is the collector experience, making sure that's a good experience for them.
Yeah, and the community is doing a great job there to showcase. You can, like on Collectibles.io, you can flip between your collection and look at them on pages almost like you do in real life. So and these tools, I mean, we haven't been here for long. It's just a few months, and they already exist. So it will be very interesting. And on that topic, do you have any plans on your own website on improvements? You don't need to go into the specifics if you don't want to, but are you planning on doing adding anything to it, or the community will take care of it? What's your idea?
You mean in terms of the next launch?
Future.
The future. Well, I will say that we're always improving everything. I mean, every single day. If you play our mobile apps, for example, we release updates every 2 weeks and constantly making improvements to the UI, to the experience, adding new features that the users are asking for. So we focus a lot on quality and speed and innovation in that business. And that's going to apply to blockchain too. So, again, it's very early for us. If you look at the feature set in our mobile apps, it's very different than what you see in blockchain, only because we just are getting into blockchain. We have it built out, all the features, and Wax has been a great partner to us to help us with the DApp. So, it'll get better as we move along for sure.
Yeah, that's very nice. I had a few community members that asked specifically about the Toppsdigital GPK page, so that's good to hear.
Yeah, Yeah, and we listen too. I mean, we're my team is usually in, just kind of looking around in Reddit channels where they talk about some of our products, and not so much Telegram, but getting into that more Discord and things like that. So we do listen as much as we can and try to adjust when we get feedback.
Yeah, that's awesome. Happy to hear, and I think a lot of people will feel the same. Um, so, is the biggest challenge what you to get deeper into this ecosystem? What you said before about onboarding the teams of the new, the other partners, and figuring out this what happens when these IPs live on for the future and adapted into different ecosystems, or is there any other challenge that you see, yeah, moving forward?
Well, the space itself, I think one of the biggest things that's kind of holding the space back is just ease of use, which is something that plagues. I mean, even mobile games today in the App Store and Google Play. It's something you always work at, and I think blockchain's very far behind. And I think that there's a little bit of a intimidation factor for kind of mainstream people regarding blockchain and crypto, because it's like there's no like really clear starting point for a consumer so much. Like if you want to play mobile games, you will go to Google Play or the App Store. You got a phone, you can go there and download a game. But for blockchain, there's a lot of different platforms, a lot of different wallets, and it's just not entirely clear without doing a lot of research where you start. And so I think that's one thing that's holding back a lot of people going in. I think it's getting better. I think Wax is making it easier. I think other players like Dapper Labs are trying to do the same thing. So I do think that part is getting better. And then when people get more comfortable with it, it'll grow. But I think that does need to happen. There needs to be more people coming in that are collectors and they're fans and they're gamers, as opposed to just kind of crypto enthusiasts and traders. Which that group of people has been phenomenal for really propping up this amazing technology and I would say new opportunity model. But that's what I think is kind of holding the space back. And I do think once there are more success stories, that'll start to create some gravity around blockchain and bring in other developers and consumers.
Yeah, and I agree fully. The user experience has to be better. You should be able to start, and then if you're interested, you can learn more. Not that you have to learn more to be able to start. That's
Exactly.
And the cloud wallet is one great thing that is great. If you buy the cards, the packs, you just log in and you have an account. You don't even know what the blockchain account is. You just log in, you have a pack, and you can open them. And so that is very nice.
Yeah, and there's some concern too, like security. Like I remember the first time that I signed up for the Wax wallet, and then I was going to some of the other markets like GPK Market and Collectibles, and it asks for your information. There's just a brief moment. You're like I assume this is secure.
Yeah.
Log in again.
You
And
get
it's
this
right.
pop-up and you have to sign the transaction.
Yeah, that's right. Give them all access. Okay, well, there goes my Wax currency.
Yeah.
But it's just, again, it's just comfort. And I think as more people get in and they're doing more things, there'll be more comfort and a sense of security, and that'll help.
Yeah, and if these platforms have the opportunity to grow into a business, they can get some reputation, and we can trust their platform, and we can push people towards them, and yeah, and everything now it's all fresh, as you said. They just came right straight after the launch, so a lot of things has to be done.
That's right.
And for the tops, now that you have some data on the secondary market, how does that feel in the team and the board members and employees and everything?
Well, it's a new business model, and we always hoped it would be. And this is at the very beginning of it, and we're excited about it. We have with our mobile apps, we have a lot of people that really trade millions of dollars of product on eBay, if you can believe it, which is a completely risky transaction. No guarantee that either side of the party is going to honor their agreement, but it happens. So there's obviously an innate desire to do that. And so, we're seeing in blockchain the enablement of that. But what gets me a little more excited, even than that, just purely the secondary market, which I'm incredibly excited about, and we're seeing some good early numbers on that, is how that actually fosters a completely new ecosystem downstream. And that means people creating games. Like I would love to see developers go out there and create gameplay or games or mini games around our GPK cards, right? Because that's fun for them. It gives utility to those NFTs or GPK NFTs. So people have more fun outside of just holding them as a collectible or the arbitrage opportunity. And it does actually, for us from a business perspective, beef up that business model, because now all of a sudden there's a lot of activity and liquidity around the NFTs. People are trading them for different reasons. Maybe I want to use my GPK card, this card, I want this card because I want to complete my set. And then meanwhile, somebody else wants a different card because they're playing a game and that they need it for. And then that creates a lot of activity, and it's fun for the collectors and the end users, and it's great for us because it builds a better business model.
Yeah, and just to clarify that or ask you and verify, so the tops from top side, you are okay with games using the GPK cards inside the games?
It's a qualified yes.
Yeah, as long as you don't mistreat the brand in some way, I guess.
It's that. I mean, it's and also from us. And I think this is the question of every single IP holder. It is the question probably, which is you want to foster a healthy community and harness the creativity of developers, but you also it's your brand and you want to be able to monetize that as a business. So it's a little bit of a give and take, and I think my stance so far is that we're supportive of that because we want to see what happens. The last thing I would ever want to do is stifle innovation. By the same token, we have to build our business, and that is our property. So it's kind of a wait and see. But at the moment, I want to see basically unleash the creativity of the community and see what happens, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and I know personally a few small games, the HTML5 based games that are interested in looking into it. So I think they will be very excited about that, and so they can explore it and see how it works, and then take it from there. It sounds like.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, and if we then take these digital apps that you have for these collectibles, now we're still in this very early stage, but is it any, have you started to think about how you could incorporate them in the blockchain, or are you treating them as two separate fields?
At the moment, there's really a little bit of different focus on the two businesses. On the mobile app side, we're really focused on expanding the community of fans and focused on that collecting experience and making it fun and enjoyable. Of course, we're building the business as well, but that's been the focus there. I think one thing that's interesting when you bring in the element of pure arbitrage and buying and with the intent of reselling, is it becomes a lot more economical and financial at that point. And what that it drives a different behavior in a lot of cases, and sometimes it drives it attracts different types of collectors, and they're all about buying as much product as they can, getting the rare stuff and reselling it. That's it. It's kind of the quick flip, and that's okay. But we in order to have a really big, healthy business and ecosystem, you need to also enable collectors who just enjoy collecting this stuff, and they have money to spend and they want to spend it. They need to have a good experience too, and you can't create an environment where they're always shut out, or the only option they have is to go and spend a ton above market to get what they want. That's not good either. And so that's why those two businesses are a little bit separate. And I think what the way it'll ultimately evolve is our mobile apps will start to be, probably connected to the blockchain in some fashion. And you'll have options to, hey, do you want to take this set of yours or these cards of yours and trade it on the blockchain? I think that's how it'll evolve, and we'll take it very slowly. But that's what I'm guessing. I think if I were to look out 5 years, I think that blockchain is going to be a fundamental part of everything we do in our digital business and even our physical business. So we know that that's coming. We just want to make sure that as we get there, that path is well thought out and creates a good experience for all of our collectors and fans.
Yeah, and what you said about the physical ones, like Wax tried as a testing before and doing that with sneakers and things, that they actually tokenized them and they were able to trade them. That is a very good way to do it for all these collectibles, because they're worth a lot of money and they are kind of hard to verify and to trade. And if you have a trusted third party that can do this without actually sending them back and forward all the time and risking losing them, I mean, from my perspective, but I come from the digital perspective, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, it's. I think the future's very bright. It's going to be fun to see, what happens. And like I said, I was in the mobile games business early on, and it was just fun to see all the innovation. And there are a lot of things that pop up that surprise you. I never thought that one of the biggest games would be people, developing a farm and watering their plants. That happened.
Yeah, it did. Sounds amazing until no, it doesn't. But when you play it, a lot of people love it.
Yep.
So I know we are running a little bit short on time soon, and I'm gonna move out to some community questions, and I will call them the quick questions, and you feel free to just say pause if something that you want to answer, or just give a short answer, or dig into it if you want to.
Sounds great.
The Westerner asks what is the marketing plan for Tops and Wax moving forward?
Well, we're going to play it by ear. Right now, we're really leveraging for GPK the fan sites and the community, and I think that will probably be our plan in the near future, is to really leverage those communities and do grassroots marketing.
Sounds good. And can we expect? We already went to that about the other IPs, so I guess we shouldn't really ask that question. And moving forward, what we know now is we have heard that Series 2 is something that is coming. Do we have any more details on that?
Not yet. We're actively working on it. We're going to make it really cool. I can say that. And that's about all I can say.
You're working on it, and that's good. It's probably coming. So
yeah, we have to. We're planning on taking it up a notch from Series 1 and goes exotic.
And if I may ask, in what does take it up mean?
I think provide a different type of product. I don't mean more volume, which I know it might concern people. We've heard the volume question, and we're thinking about that. And I'm really referring to innovation and quality and variety.
That's good, and I think a lot of people will be happy that you utter those words. There are those collectors that you mentioned before that want to swoop up all these cards and flip them for a higher price, and they are concerned about those higher mint numbers.
Yeah, and we absolutely heard that and are taking it to heart.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as an outro, the last big question: what can we expect from Wax and Tops out of 2020 by New Year's? How does it look? It's like half the year has passed.
I think it's going to be a good year. I mean, I think Wax has got a lot of momentum. They're doing a lot of very cool things, and for somebody just as a participant in that ecosystem, it's fun for me to see the other things that they have going. They've got Capcom and Atari and William Shatner and these other things. And so we're happy to be part of that. I think I'm hopeful that the ecosystem is going to grow, and I think we're going to be a part of that, and we want to be part of that and really innovate and push and provide quality products and help everything get better as one of the members of that ecosystem. And I just see us doing more things, better things throughout the rest of the year.
That sounds good. So you're working hard on this.
Absolutely. It's not just a side business.
That's awesome. I think a lot of people will be happy to hear. And I know that we are running short of time from what you said that you were able to do today, and I'm very grateful that you actually came here. Very happy to have the opportunity to speak to you. So thank you for coming here, and I hope you have a great coming days, and we're looking forward for Series 2.
Thanks. Well, it was great talking to you, and thanks for inviting me.